This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports. We're here at Anderson Boxing. And I guess first and foremost, delighted James Freeman, obviously Ireland's newest professional boxer. We've sort of had this in the running for a while, but I'm sure you're glad now. Licensing out of the way, medicals and stuff out of the way, and now I guess it's just a case of getting in the ring and making your pro debut.
Yes, Morty, thank you very much for having me on. I got cleared for my licence last week, and I'm very eager to get in the ring. Firstly, my name's James Freeman. I'm from County Armagh. Just turned 28 last week.
It's like a dating site here, is it?
It is, surely. Tinder profile. No, actually, I'm taken. I'm actually recently engaged. As you know, we just had a wee chat about it there last week. So, yeah.
Mr. Smooth, I'd nearly forgot about that. I was sort of thinking of the questions and I was thinking Mr. Smooth went to Thailand and proposed to the missus, and I guess you're making sure you have her on side before you make your pro debut. They make her look like she's in charge, but really it's you in charge, isn't it?
That's it, Rory. There's a few sides to me, you know. Mr. Smooth, and then a bit of the fighting side to me, but no, all went well. I'm very, very happy how it went. She's happy, so that's the main thing. Happy wife, happy life, as I say. It
definitely is. For obviously, I guess not too many people's probably going to know you in boxing, but you've been obviously involved in other sports. You're obviously played Armagh football for quite a few years. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I've played sport all my life. I played hurling, Gaelic, soccer, up until I was 15, 16. And I remember I was actually out 6 days a week, and I picked up a few niggles when I was 15 years of age, and I sat down with the physio and he said, "You're doing too much." So I had to pick one sport. I decided to go with Gaelic. That was where my heart was. I played for my club, Pierce Oaks in Armagh, and County Armagh from I was 6 years of age up until senior level. And then, yeah, so I played it all my life, and now I've turned over, obviously, to be a boxer.
What sort of changed? I guess sometimes when you're developed to a sport and you're passionate and everything else about it, what sort of changed for you, obviously, with the Gaelic game? Is it sort of, I guess, when you're in a team environment sometimes, is it probably fair to say you can maybe lose the love of it? Or what obviously was it that changed? Was obviously the Gaelic for you, that now you're obviously coming into boxing? Is it just something new to you? It's sort of something you've always wanted to do?
I've always loved boxing. I've always watched boxing. I remember the first fight I ever stayed up for was Mayweather against Hatton. I think I was maybe 14 years of age. But I played Gaelic all my life. When you're from Armagh, there's very, very few boxers in Armagh. That's all I knew, and I played it till I was about a year and a half ago. So I played it from 6 years of age. I loved it, don't get me wrong, but it's like anything in life. I just got fed up with, fed out with love with it. I thought I always wanted to play for Armagh. I called up in Armagh in 2018 in the senior team. I played in the minors, under 21, then I called up in senior. And I got there and I enjoyed it for a small period of time. And to be honest with you, actually only last 6 months, because I rang the manager at the time. He still is the manager, Kieran McGeaney, and I rang him and just said, "Listen, my heart's not in it. I don't enjoy going to train. I don't want to do it. I want to go and fight." I always loved boxing, want to give it a try. And people just said to me, "Oh, you're a bit old and maybe pick up that sport and whatnot," but I don't think like the normal man does. I think if I put my mind to it, I know how hard I work, I can do anything, to be honest with you. So while I was playing football, I was always doing a bit of boxing training on the side. Like, it got this stage there in my last couple of years playing football. I would always do the gym work and do my strength and conditioning work on the side, but it was always boxing. I was finished with 8 to 12 rounds in the bag. I would pull in, torture my friends that follow boxing. I'd torture them to do pads. When I quit Armagh in 2000, and it was the start of 2019, I quit Armagh and I told the Armagh manager I was going to go box. And I came back to the club and with a new manager at the time. And he was a very successful manager, Shane McConville. And he almost convinced me, "James, we have a really, really, really strong chance of winning the championship, win the league this year. Can you do one season for me?" And I kind of had an agreement with him from the start. "Listen, I'll play for you, but I want you to have my box on the side," because he trained professional Ryan Green. He helped train him, and we had an agreement. So I would meet him an hour, 45 minutes before training session would start, and we'd go up and do 12 to 10 rounds in the pads. The boys would come in the change room and I'd be dripping in sweat. They'd be like, "What's going on here?" I'm like, "Me and McConville doing pads." So it was kind of a wee thing on the side. and I always watched boxing. I studied boxing. I really respect anybody who walks in the ring. Doesn't matter what level you are, whether it be amateur, whether it be semi-professional, whether it be professional. It takes balls to get in there, and so that was it. So I finished out the season with Shane, and we were in the gym actually doing a bit of pre-season the following year, and it was December 2000. It was November 2019, and he came up to me and says, "My friend's having a show there in Portdown in Seago Hotel. He's struggling to sell a few tickets. So would you fight?" And I said, "Yeah, when is it?" And he walked away from me. Oh, he goes, no, it'll be too soon for you, because he knows what way I am built, what way I'm wired. He knew I'd get to me. So I chased him. I goes, "When is the fight? When's the fight?" And he says, in 3 weeks' time. I said, "Tell him I'll do it." And he says, "You sure? You sure? Sure you haven't really, sparring or anything?" No, I goes, "Tell him I'll do it. I want to do it." So rocked up the training anyway, and next thing it's a semi-professional fight. There's no head guard and whatnot. It was meant to be in 10-ounce gloves, but the day of the fight, for whatever reason, maybe insurance reasons, I'm not fully sure, it was actually switched to 16 ounces. So I pulled up all the Oaks boys and all the Armagh boys come up and watched me. I think my first show, maybe done 100 tickets in 3 weeks. And I got in the ring and I fought about 10 fights. I think I had 5 boxing fights and 5 kickboxing fights. And he came at me and I pushed him off and banged him and knocked him out in 19 seconds, and I was just hooked on it. Hooked, addicted from then. I just couldn't stop thinking about it, couldn't stop training. I actually didn't even know how to celebrate. I hit him, and as soon as I hit him, his eyes turned white almost. I was like, I don't know if it was a lucky shot or what it was, but I think it was meant to be, and ever since I've just been training non-stop,
You can sort of see the excitement sort of there as you're talking. It's like you had your first taste of boxing. It lasted 19 seconds, and I guess it was like it's that adrenaline rush. It's like, what happens next? Where's the next one? I think right in saying you've had 4 fights, but you've obviously it's been on the white collar sort of semi-pro circuit. You've obviously had no amateur experience whatsoever. So coming into the professional side of boxing, everything's all new to you. But you've been involved in teaming sports. You've been involved in the environment of obviously, the sporting background. Does anything sort of phase you sort of coming into pro boxing, or is it just the fact that you know what it takes? You study the sport. You're working hard. And now you just want to get in there and see what you can do?
Yeah, that's exactly it. But 4 fights, 4 semi-collar, unlicensed fights, you want to call it, people. It is what it is all it is. But I've had 4 fights, 4 knockouts, 3 in round 1 and 1 in round 2. I've recently got a nutritionist on board full time, Yannick McGee, and we actually discussing a few nights ago about it. I was like, "Yannick, I don't know if it's God given, I've just got a bit of power, or it's translated from years of training, years of work." He says, "No, it's daffy translated." Like, I've been in the gym from I was about 15 years of age, so you're talking 13 years of work I've been doing consistently. So I'm always working, I'm always training. I actually have a diary tracking all my workouts and stuff, and I fell sick there during Christmas, and I looked back at all my stuff, and the longest I've taken it off basically in 10 years is 9 days, and that was me sick. I just can't see work, whether it be in the gym or business. I can't really switch off. Don't know if there's something wrong with me, but I'll just ride the wave as it comes. In terms of transferring over from football to boxing, I think I've a lot of advantages. Being, I don't want to sound like big-headed, but being a good footballer where I'm from, I've had a bit of pressure on myself at club level, to deliver on the bigger stage. And I actually remember transferring from minor to senior. I was 18, going to 19, and playing senior championship for the first time and whatnot, and eyes on you, and you want to really deliver. And I remember I used to watch Ray Lewis, NFL and stuff, and get myself psyched up and listen to hard music and get myself really, almost angry to go into a big game. And I was like, this isn't working for me, and I didn't actually feel comfortable in the environment. Couldn't breathe in, couldn't control the bigger audience and whatnot, and I kind of felt a wee bit overwhelmed. So when I was 18, 19, I took a year out of Gaelic, and I said, right, I'm a bit light for senior football, I want to bulk up. So I put on about 5 kilo in that year. Went to the gym. My mum was actually melting ice cream a weight gainer just to put on size, because I was so small. And then I really dived into the psychology of sport, like the likes of Kobe Bryant, the likes of Ray Lewis, the likes of Conor McGregor, John Jones, all the greats, and I looked up different traits that they had and how they dealt with pressure. I read different books, the law of attraction, and I really broke down what fear is and what it is, and Kobe Bryant said, people think that puts himself under a lot of pressure, going to hit the game-winning shot and whatnot. He goes, but if you actually sit back and look what fear is, what is fear? What is it? That like you're going to go and miss the shot and people are going to laugh at you for a couple of days. He says that's old news within a week. He says as long as you know you've put in the work and you know that you deserve that opportunity to hit that shot, then so be it. What's meant to be, what's meant to be. So when I step in there and fight, like I fear nothing. And I'm not saying that in a cringy way. I'm just saying that in the sense that I put in the work. I've been doing 10 boxing sessions, 10 week. I've been doing 10 sessions a week for the last, I don't know how many years, between strength work and boxing work. I know I put in the work. I know I deserve this opportunity to see what I'm made of. So I don't fear going out and losing because I have the balls to go and fight. Like the only people that are going to talk bad about you or talk ill of you are the people that are sitting in the stands that have never done it. People that have actually went and put themselves in an uncomfortable position and maybe have lost before or maybe they've won before, they know what it feels like to go in and do that. So I don't fear nothing. It's not like I'm coming here with an Olympian background or 200 amateur fights and there's just big pressure on me. It's not like I'm under pressure to make a living out of this sport, you know. Like I'm very busy with work. I'm juggling everything at the minute, but I've nothing to lose and all to gain. That's the way I look at it. So like when my dad becomes around and we've got a proposed date, which is very, very exciting, I can get in there and I'm going to grab the opportunity with both hands, you know. I'm going to fear nothing. I'm going to go across the ring, 2 hands up, and I'm going to let my hands go. And what's meant to be is meant to be. As long as I put in the work and I know I'm ready to go, it is what it is, you know.
Obviously, adjusting to, I guess, the professional side of boxing as well. Obviously, you're training here with Dan Anderson. Thankfully, we have no gym today with Dan here because he'd probably be in the middle of the interview. But how's it been, obviously, then? Someday I would say it's like eccentric. You know, Dan's like a child in a man's body. He's so buzzing. He's so happy. Everything's 100 mile an hour. How's it been sort of then when Dan's sort of saying to you, you know, with your limited experience, but do this. Are you finding because of obviously the nature of the person that you are, the instruction sort of thing, and you know where I'm saying maybe ease off here, don't go 100 mile an hour. How have you found that adjustment sort of with a professional coach? I'm guessing there's sort of moments you maybe fall out with each other, you know, saying, but I want to do this. Maybe the understanding of sort of why you set traps, you know, why you'll move your feet in a certain way. How's that adjustment sort of been with Dan so far?
Dan's been an absolute pleasure to work with, to be honest with you. He actually said to me a few weeks ago, he goes, James, I'm going to spend your whole career telling you to calm down and telling you to wind it in and telling you to take it one step at a time, because he knows I'm not ambitious. I won't do everything there and then, you know. But when I started work with him, his attention to detail is second to none. Like we're doing footwork and drills and we're doing different setup and traps, like you said, and pivot and really working on the basics and working on setting up traps and everything else. But like me and Dom or me and Lewis, whatever we're doing, we drill at the side and maybe he's working with somebody else and he'd be shouting over James or Dom, I want your right foot 10 degrees left or 10 degrees right. I'm like, how the fuck can he see that from over there? Do you know what I mean? Sorry for my language. How can he see from over there? But he has, I think, I'm not sure if he's diagnosed now. Maybe this will come out, maybe he'll call me a cunt after this, but he probably has OCD. But it works in an advantage way when it comes to boxing.
I think he's actually told me before he thinks he does have OCD. I think everybody has sort of traits of OCD somewhere, but I think Dan's actually admitted to me before he thinks he does have OCD when it comes to boxing.
There you go, I'm not the first one to say it then, at least he's admitted it. But it works wonders for me, and I'm very, very grateful for him taking me on and putting in the hours for me. Like he's putting in, I'm up here Monday to Friday every week, and he's putting in 2 hours every week out of his time, you know, for me. So obviously, it's a compliment in the sense that he sees a future in me, and he's investing that much time and effort in me. And I'm really looking forward to paying him back, you know, and I can't wait to get on the big stage with him and hopefully deliver a few knockouts and make him happy, you know.
Obviously, having, you know, the likes of, you know, Lewis Crocker, who's obviously tipped to do major things, and obviously the sport, and I guess, you know, the last few months and things like that, you've been watching obviously the progress of obviously Dom, who's on his way building back, and obviously lost a really good friend last year, and we're probably seeing the Dom of old coming back. How have you sort of, with that gym environment, obviously with people that's more experienced, obviously with boxing, how have you found that learning? Because sometimes maybe you're not in the ring, but you're maybe watching Lewis moving about. I'm sure every day is like a sort of school day to you. I guess in life, every day's a school day, but how have you found that sort of adjustment, working with people that have the experience? Is it a dream sort of for you?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. The likes of working with Lewis and Dom's been great, but even the likes of some of the amateurs that come in here, you can learn from absolutely everybody. Doesn't matter what level they are boxing. Some people move in a certain way, and you're like, I really, really want to add that to my game. And I'd say to Dan, like, what way to do that? And we drill. Sometimes, like Lewis and stuff would be doing something in here, and they'd leave, and I'd go, right, Dan, I want to do that. Even the likes of, not even with Lewis and Dom, even the likes of like online, if I see a show, like I torture Dan will tell you, I'm sending videos 11, 12 o'clock at night. If I see someone doing a particular move on Instagram or whatever it may be, I'd send to him and go, can we drill this tomorrow? And he'd love it too. He loves that I'm a student of the game and I'm very ambitious and I want to learn everything, you know. But seeing the way Crocker moves is unbelievable. The way he turns us into this punches class. I really, really believe if he gets the right opportunity, he can be world champion. Is unbelievable. And I worked with him and I worked a bit with Aidan Walsh and I've quizzed both of them, you know. Aidan Walsh is a great talent as well. And alongside Dom, brilliant. I worked day in, day out with Dom. Don's working very hard and he's his title fight here tomorrow night in Scotland. I'm going over tomorrow, me and Ian, or my manager, is going over tomorrow to watch him. I'll be in his corner, I'll be a second man. We've done a lot of rounds. I've actually fought Southpaw there for the last 8 weeks to help him out. But Dom's a great fella. Works very hard and I truly believe he deserves this opportunity. I think he'll grab it with both hands. We've done countless rounds with Dom. As you can see, I can probably bring out the more confident side of Dom. I'm a bit more upbeat. Maybe if he's a bit down some days or I'm a bit down, I bring him up, he brings me up, but I'm always upbeat anyway. So maybe I can add a wee bit of smile and have a bit of crack. And like the two boys have given me good credit, you know, since I've came here. I've added a wee bit of life to the camp. Dan also, his stable's grown. Since I've been here, he's added another 2 fighters, so now he's got a camp of 4 fighters. And I know there's countless people have actually asked to work with him. The good thing about Dan as well is Dan doesn't just bring anybody into the gym. Dan will look at their background, maybe meet them, look at their personality, see where they move, see if he can add, see if he can see, you know, an investment in them. If he feels he can bring them on and maybe bring them to a level where he'd be happy with, he'll invest in people. But at the same time, I've seen him turn people down. Maybe their attitude or their personality maybe doesn't fit Dan's bill, so he's not jumping the gun on anybody. He's working with people he really wants to work with, and I really think over the next couple of years, Dan's stable will be huge and he's going to get the credit he deserves, you know, because he puts a lot of time and effort into his fighters and he really cares about his fighters, you know. Like, I know he wants the best for me day in, day out, and it's great to have somebody there in the corner that wants that, you know.
You've sort of touched there as well. Obviously, you've a manager as well, and obviously Ian Gorkin. Ian Gorkin, obviously, over the last years, has sort of went a stable from 1 or 2 fighters, you know, the crazy levels. I joke with him nearly on a daily basis and think that his missus is going to kick him out, you know, because he probably thinks more about fighters than he obviously thinks about the missus and the kids. But that's sort of things you've done in the background. Obviously, you've added, you know, the coaching setup, obviously, in Dan. You've obviously added the manager and Ian. And obviously the rumoured potential, you know, date. I'm obviously not allowed to say too much on the date, but when you have that potential, obviously, of a debut coming up, is it just you just can't wait for it to happen? I guess it's when you get your licence through, it's like, right, that's one box ticked, you know, potentially to make your debut in Belfast, and obviously on a massive card as well. Is it like a kid at Christmas to you? You just can't wait to get going? Like, in terms of tickets and things like that, obviously a lot of stuff on boxing nowadays is on tickets. You're used to that, obviously, in your day-to-day. Well, you obviously do nightclub stuff and stuff as well, so you're used to, obviously, the promotional side of things, so none of this is probably going to faze you in pro boxing.
No, you're touching on a few things there. Firstly, manager Ian Gorkin, absolute genius. Absolute credit to work with from day one. He helped me get my licence and stuff. That with the boxing board, I'm with the BUI. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of him, you know, and he's been like a massive deal himself. I know a lot of people want to work with him as well because he's done so well. I think he is going to cap his amount of fighters he has on board, but because taking over his day job, he's telling me. But listen, hopefully down the line he can do it full time, you know. And then you're touching on tickets there, I think also. Yeah, well, on my 4 fights, like I headlined my last 2 shows. My last show, I fought in the Seagull Hotel and done 180 tickets. On the same day, actually, my best mate had an engagement party. So I could have probably done 50 tickets. So you're talking 200 tickets, no bother. And that's a small hall show, that semi-pro circuit, you know. With my debut album, well, hopefully I'll get confirmed this week. I don't want to say too much just yet. I'll do I don't know how many hundred tickets, but there'll be a massive number of tickets. Like the thing with me, I have a huge support from Armagh. You know, the Armagh people really, really get behind you. My support's unmatched. All my fights, the crowd's absolutely crazy. Like the Armagh boys are a bit wild. I was warming up my last fight, and next thing there's a racket going downstairs, and I was like, "Geez, what's going on down there?" And the bouncer, I wanted to walk down. The bouncer was like, "No, you stay up." I knocked down, and my mates were in a scuffle. It's just the nature of them, you know. But support would be unbelievable. Everywhere I go, I walk down the street now, it's not about football. It used to be all about when's the next match or how you feeling, blah, blah, blah. Now it's all about when are you fighting? Can't wait to go. Actually, if some young fellas writing them are going, actually, they've stepped out of their comfort zone now. I have a guy on the phone to me there a couple of days ago, and he's taking up music. You know, he really wanted to do it, but he never really had the confidence to do it. And he's seen me go and chasing my dreams. Like, so if I can influence people like that, that's a bonus, you know. I'm not set out to do that. We're all on our own journey. I have a lamp, my plate as it is, but if I can encourage people to maybe take that risk and go and chase their dreams, that's a benefit to me. Nightclubs, yeah. Well, I'm a part owner in Warehouse Mondays. It's the biggest Monday night, student Monday night in Belfast. There are about 2,000 people. So I sell tickets in the daily. So there's no pressure there whatsoever when it comes to selling tickets. I have great support. I have no problem putting myself out there. And then to touch on the experience of my previous fights of selling tickets, I've dealt with selling tickets. I've dealt with opponents to fight in the front foot, opponents to fight in the back foot. I've dealt with opponents pulling out. In my 4 fights, I've had 10 pullouts. I mean, people judge a book by its cover because I have a few muscles or whatever it may be, but you know as well as I know, Marty, muscles don't win fights, thinking wins fights, you know. So it's boxing skill and thinking that wins fights. So I've dealt with that, and I've dealt with, like, my last opponent pulled out in the day of the weigh-in, you know, I weighed in and he pulled out. So I've dealt with a lot of things when it comes to boxing. When the debut comes around, I have nothing to fear. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do my best, and as long as I can look in the mirror and know I'm fully prepared, I'm ready to let my hands go, and I really, really feel like I'll hurt a lot of people in the welterweight, like, you know, and that's just the way I feel, and we'll see how it works out.
I was going to touch on obviously the weight class you're looking at there. I'm sort of looking at you as well, and obviously seeing that the shivers. Dan still hasn't put 50p in the meter yet for the electric, for the heat. But obviously don't want to keep you much longer. Obviously campaigning, I guess, in pro boxing, I guess your first couple of fights, they're sort of going to be probably not to the level you probably maybe expect in professional boxing. I guess journeymen obviously have their role in the sport, and I guess it's going to come good for you in the fact that the stabilisers are going to be on you for a few fights. You know, you're going to have obviously opponents that are trying to survive or on the back foot trying to run from you, but it's trying to control everything as well. That red mist going to come out when you make your debut, and it's like, I want to put on a performance, I want to stop someone. How much are you looking forward to the social media aspect of obviously building yourself as well? You know, where you've obviously had a job in the entertainment business, do you obviously looking forward and relishing the fact of obviously building yourself a profile now as a professional boxer?
Yeah, we'll just touch on that. I was doing a bit of training there before you came in, and I was roasted. And we started this interview, and I'm standing here, and I don't even know if you can see me shivering, which is cold. Down sorting the heating out soon, but you like that wee rustic, cold gym anyway. You like not to be in the uncomfortable. It's a bit of a recovery session here for me. But the profile and stuff, if it comes with it, it comes with it. But I'm not really bothered, to be honest with you. I've been told by a few people, and my woman in particular, that I need to start posting more online about my training and whatnot, because I train every day, twice a day. I'm not sure if you noticed that, but I've tried that the last few weeks, putting out videos and stuff and building up attention, because it all goes part of the game, you know. Boxing, obviously, you need a box, but it's an entertainment at the end of the day. So if you can sell more tickets by putting up videos, putting up pictures, whatever it may be, I'm in for it all. I'm not totally dependent on making money from boxing. I'm not busy with my other ventures, you know, but if I make a few pounds from it, happy days. And then in terms of the scene of how far I can go, it's untapped. The potentials that hasn't been seen yet, you know, because like what I've learnt the last 4 years, it'll probably take somebody 10 years to learn, and I'm having a lot of years left to go, so I'm learning every single day. So it'd be exciting to see how far I can go and how much my ability, you know, can increase, because it's a sport, it's an art at the end of the day, and I'm working every day to get better. As long as I can see myself getting better, 1% better every day, I'm happy out, you know. So we'll see what it plays out.
I guess obviously sponsorship as well is always going to play a big part for you as well. Have you got any sponsors involved yet? Obviously, and you starting out, are you going to be obviously on the lookout for sponsors? Obviously know how much the costs involved in stuff in sport is nowadays. I guess obviously sponsors do play that big part. Do you have any lined up yet, or are you on the lookout for sponsors? And obviously, how can they get in touch with you? If they're looking to sponsor the career of James Freeman as you build up through the ranks.
Yeah, well, I'm on the way to get my professional license sorted. I got that last week, fully confirmed. I want to make sure my medical was okay, all passed. And I'll probably put a few feelers out there when I can announce my debut. Maybe get a few sponsors in the shorts. There's a few people that actually already approached me, saying, "Listen, I'd love to support you in your career." Whatnot. I deal with a lot of colleagues and clients through business, but nothing fully cemented yet. I know of a handful of people 100% will sponsor me and support me. Like, I support them in their ventures. I know I'll definitely have Warehouse Mondays on my shorts. So we'll see how it plays out. My handles are at James E. Free on Instagram, James Freeman on Facebook. But I'm sure people that I do work with and stuff, they've already kind of let me know that they'll support my career. So I don't think I've have too much stress there. All been well, and if it comes it, I'll be able to sort something.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure finally to get the interview out and on the way. Well, obviously, I guess like anybody, be obviously looking forward to hearing some debut news, and I'm sure we'll obviously catch up with you very, very soon. And I guess we'll probably maybe leave it to obviously maybe you've had your pro day before we have another talk, because I guess you just want to focus on getting ready for fight. But thanks very much for your time, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again very, very soon.
Thank you very much, Morty. You're like the Irish version of Earl Honey, and you're doing a lot of great work, and I hope all the best in the future.
Cheers, James. Take care.